So I'm with Yoav, and you are
I'm a rabbi in Kibbutz Chanaton. I'm the director of the educational center.
Okay, great. So I want you to tell me a little bit about that. It would be great to hear what you're doing here, and also a little bit about the kibbutz itself. It would be nice to know kind of the history, because I know it has a really kind of interesting, evolution that's been going on lately. So.
Okay. So I think we can see Chanaton in the spectrum of what's called in Hebrew kehilot tzirot, young communities, which means that families who are looking for an intentional life, living in an intentional community, and wanting to do it together. So in Israel...
And when you say intentional, what do you mean by that?
I mean that there is an idea. I mean that life is not disconnected from work, and that community is not disconnected from the place that you live in. So bringing all that together, and also when I say intentional, I mean that our life has to influence our society. By building our community, we build our society, we build our state. And there's a meaning to what we do. The story about this place is that Chanaton was a kibbutz that was a conservative Masorti kibbutz, founded in 1984 by the movement, the conservative movement in Israel, the Masorti movement, and that mainly people who came to live here were people who made Aliyah. This is part of a bigger plan which is called Tuchnit HaMitzpim. In the 80s, there was a governmental plan to bring people from Tel Aviv, Yerushalayim, to the periphery, to the Galilee. So when I was finishing my rabbinical school in Jerusalem, there was an idea of trying to bring new life to Chanaton because it was such in a bad shape, and trying to actually rebuild this educational center.
This is the educational center.
This is the educational center. This is the leadership center that we're building here, that we want from here really to influence the identity of our society as individuals and as a community. So the idea of the movement was they were seeing the kibbutz falling apart, and they say, let's not lose the educational center. And so I was trying to try to rebuild it. And together with friends, I understood that nothing can happen without a community. A community is the basis for everything. You can't build an educational center which the community is not a part of it. There was a dream, okay? There was a potential. A lot of risks. No one wanted to come here because there was a lot of... Right. So this place was a lot of, there were a lot of sad stories about this place, how it never could really rise up, it never happened, people put their heart in and soul, and so nobody really knew what to do. So we saw the potential instead of seeing the risks. And we turned to people and we said, remember the dream of building a pluralistic, religious community, intentional community who will live and work in a model of a renewed kibbutz, but also have an educational center beside it. So that dream, for people who grew up within the Masorti, Reform, Modern Orthodox communities, was very appealing.
Yeah.
So we just started to have household meetings.
Yes.
Right? We went to this house, to that house, to this house, and everybody brought himself and brought his friends. And that's how it happened, really, in a very, very intensive half year. We had a lot of meetings, a lot of talks.
I actually remember when this was happening, because I made Aliyah in 2008, and I remember when
it was just beginning.
I know, because like I said, I remember you guys talking about it. Yeah. We sat at Ramat Rahel. These were the very beginning of the days when I was here, and I vaguely knew Jacob and Haviva, but it was a whole big thing. We were all like, you're selling your house and you're moving up to there? What are you doing? You know?
So one of the houses that I had that we did this Bikur Bait was Jacob's and Chaviva's house.
Yeah.
So we went to their house, and of course they brought their friends, and then we started talking.
Yeah.
So that's how it kind of, and then we started doing meetings outside of Jerusalem. Make a long story short, within a half a year we got 18 families who said that they will move up here, really sell their house, leave their work.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
I know.
And come and try to rebuild this community.
Kind of like we did when we made Aliyah, from Brooklyn to New York.
A little less dramatic,
but still,
a big deal. Right? But it's a big deal.
Jerusalem to come up here,
right?
It's a completely different way of life. It's another world.
It's another way of life, and that's what happened. Now it's 7 years ago. We came exactly 7 years ago in July.
How many families are here now?
In the beginning, we were 6 families here. Now, I think we're around 78.
How many?
78, 76.
Oh my goodness!
Right, and we actually have no room. We actually have a waiting list.
We can walk and you can show me where all the houses are.
So let's.
I didn't see them when I was coming in.